So, thank you very much for joining me. For such a time as this, I almost feel as if we should just stop and pray. I mean, our nation is at a crossroads, and now we come to find that a woman named Kamala Harris is the presumed nominee for President of the United States of America. I've been watching this woman intently for many, many years, having done the bulk of my media career in San Francisco. I knew Kamala Harris back when she was in the district attorney's office. Didn't know her personally, but knew of her when she was in the district attorney's office in Alameda County. Now, some of you are probably wondering, where the heck's Alameda County? So there's San Francisco, there's a Bay Bridge, and then on the other side of the bay, you have Oakland and Alameda County. That's where Kamala Harris did her time as a young district attorney. So, how did I find out about her? This is 1993. 1993, I've got a few notes that I needed to jot down just to improve my memory on this. And all of my notes matched up with the actual facts as I researched them on the internet. Kamala Harris was 29 years old in 1993. Kamala Harris was openly dating a guy named Willie Brown. Now, those of you from California know Willie Brown. Those of you, especially from San Francisco, know Willie Brown. He was a very flamboyant, larger than life personality. In 1993, Kamala was 29, Willie Brown was 60. Stick with me on this because this is very important. I don't want to see this woman become the next president of the United States. People can throw stones at Donald Trump's personal life all they want. Can I tell you something? You need to hear about Kamala Harris. She's 29 in 1993. Willie Brown in 1993 was Speaker of the California Assembly. He was Speaker of the legislature. Very powerful, prominent person. Willie Brown was married, but he was separated from his wife, and he was known to go out with flashy women. In 1993, 60-year-old Willie Brown, who'd been called by Playgirl magazine one of the top 10 most sexy men in America, 60 years old, sexy man, flamboyant, known for having open affairs, leader of the legislature, Willie Brown, 60, is in an affair with 29-year-old Kamala Harris. Yes, yuck. Kamala Harris, when the affair initially started, she's in the Alameda County DA's office. She immediately goes to confess this affair before it became public with a friend of mine who will go unnamed. My friend told her this, well, you can dry your eyes because this will be the best thing that ever happened to your career. And indeed, that was the case. So here we are in the 90s. Kamala Harris ends up getting 2 appointments by the hand of Willie Brown. The first was to the Medical Assistance Commission, where she was making $72,000. Wow. That's in addition to, being a DA. Then she makes it onto the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board, making $97,000. She was making over $170,000 a year in the 1990s. Political appointments. What happened to her after that? Well, my goodness, she becomes the district attorney of San Francisco County. After that run, she became the attorney general of the state of California. After that, she ran for senator successfully, which is just amazing because the person that she debated who was running against her as the GOP nominee, Tom Del Beccaro, a very good friend of mine, Tom Del Beccaro mopped up the floor with her when it came to the debates, but it didn't matter because it was game, set, match. It had already been determined that this was her political future. And when she became the vice presidential candidate along with Joe Biden 4 years ago, Willie Brown came out openly in the San Francisco Chronicle and said that he paved the way, opened the doors. I think those were his words, opened the doors for her political career. Kamala Harris, we see her as the cackler. She never has anything of substance to say. She pretty much mails everything in. Well, I think she's probably been mailing things in her whole career. But can I tell you something? On this one effort, she is so strident and she is so well known for being an upholder of this particular value, abortion. The left loves her because of her insatiable love or lust for the practice of abortion. I'll give you an example. I can't remember the undercover reporter's name right off the bat. It was Dan. I'll think of it probably when we get off the air here. But this was written about extensively in Breitbart and less extensively in mainstream media. But this reporter from Southern California was able to do an investigation. Rule number one, always turn off phone before a live broadcast. He was doing an investigation on Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry in California. Now, again, this is very gruesome, but you need to know these facts because it speaks volumes about Kamala Harris's heart. He was doing an investigation and he found through this very open, there were no hidden cameras, everything was done in public. The records he was able to obtain were through open source, but he did the digging and he did the research and he discovered that in California, there was abortions being carried out to harvest babies' organs and sell those organs for medical purposes. Gruesome. It was on the level. There was nothing he did that was illegal. And Kamala Harris sicked the dogs on this guy to scare him into submission. They came into his house. They ransacked his house. They took his computers. They took all electronic devices. They made him fear for his very life. Because for the left, their number one value is abortion. You will hear that at the DNC convention. You hear that every day. Think about what's happening in this country. We have a border that's bringing in the worst of the world. Every state is a border state because of the violence, the crime, the inhumanity, the maniacs that are coming across this southern border. This is affecting everyone. Our economy is taking it in the shorts. People vote with their pocketbook. You've got China that has a goal by 2049, quote unquote, dominate the West. 2049 will be the 100th anniversary of communism in China. They want to dominate the West. They are looking to take over our country. Perhaps not militarily, but economically. You've got Putin. I don't even know what he's thinking. You've got Kim Jong-il. I don't even want to know what he's thinking. You've got all of these many high-level, high-profile, scary issues facing us in America today, and the Democrats' number one issue is abortion. The cackler is their champion. Kamala Harris is a political beast. Now, it seems as if on this Monday, everybody's all in for Kamala. But can I tell you something? There's one way that could be derailed, and that's through the Democrat Party's superdelegate provision. Superdelegates are basically the deep state. They're a portion of the delegates that automatically do not align with the candidate. Their votes do not automatically go to any particular candidate. In this particular case, it would be Biden-Harris. They're the ones that could derail her if there's another plan, for example, to get Hillary in. But as of this podcast, Hillary's been endorsed by Kamala. Number one issue is abortion. Now, let me just pull back for a moment. It's my book, Climate Cult, Exposing and Defeating Their War on Life, Liberty, and Property. Okay? Brand new. Just came out in June. Yes, the book is about climate. I know a little bit about this, having been a television meteorologist. I've got the credentials, okay, to be able to understand this topic. But can I tell you something? The climate agenda is not about climate at all. It's about perfect DEI candidates like Kamala Harris. It's about their agenda to destroy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which I'll talk more about in just a second. Kamala Harris is the perfect DEI candidate. Why? Female. Why? Father's from Jamaica, mother's from India. You can check off a lot of boxes there. But the feather in her cap as a DEI candidate is her adamant stance for abortion and reproductive freedom rights. These rhetoricians on the left are so diabolically clever. Reproductive rights. Can I tell you something? We have a right to life. That means protecting the unborn. Here's their new mantra. They're saying, well, we're pro-life, we're pro-whole life. You'll see the signs at the Democrat National Convention. Pro-life, whole life. See, they look at people like me. Oh, you only care about children in the womb. We want to take care of people their entire lives. That's communism. I'm not for that. It's never worked. And you want to test my credentials on this for liberal women who may be watching this just randomly thinking, oh, what? He's a man. He has no right to talk about this. Well, there are a lot of people like my wife and I who decided a long time ago we weren't just going to talk the game when it comes to our anti-abortion stance, but we would personally do something about it through adoption. There are thousands of people like us. And that's a lifelong commitment. So I'm not all talk and no action on this particular issue. And this is very, very critical. We have inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, the subtitle of my book, Defeating Their War on Life, Liberty, and Property. Exposing and defeating. We have a right to life in this country. You have a right to life. Everyone has a right to live based upon biblical standards. These are called natural rights. You have a right to liberty. What is liberty? Liberty means you have a right to a government who will uphold the natural rights of life and the pursuit of happiness, which is property ownership. And you also have a right to a government that will uphold things like the Ten Commandments. Boiling it down, everyone in their heart of hearts knows the difference between good and evil, though some choose to do evil, truth and a lie, though some lie. Good and evil, truth and lies. We all know the difference between these two things, but some choose to do the bad, good and bad. This is called natural law, natural rights. And we, by God's design, should have a government that upholds these things. That's how the United States of America was founded, on natural law and natural rights, and a government that would uphold these things, not trash them. But the Democrat Party's out to trash these things. They'll tell you, oh, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, that's only the Declaration of Independence. This was the value on which this country was founded. Now, let me just stop right there, because I talk at length about this in my book. And I share in this book and my second book, Eco-Tyranny, which was written in 2012, I share some stories about the lives of the founders of this country and how they really did give their life, their fortunes, and their sacred honor for this country. There were 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. If you hear nothing else today, please hear this. There were 56 signers. 55 were married. Benjamin Franklin's wife had died. There's historical evidence to corroborate what I'm telling you and what I've written about. Those 55 signers all knew by signing that declaration that the powers that be in England would be out to get them. And such was the case in many instances. And there were men and women, and all of these signers went back to their wives and said, listen, here's the deal. If I sign this, we could lose everything. And those 55 women all said, sign it. They were patriots. They knew what was on the line, but they were willing to sacrifice. And many of them paid with their lives. There were many women amongst those 55 that paid with their lives because of their husband's signature. Now, why am I going down this road? Because there are Christians who are going to vote for Kamala Harris or whoever the nominee may be. They vote Democrat. They hate Trump. They'll vote Democrat. Please think about what you're doing. Think about who you're aligning yourself with. This is not a joke. This is life. This is liberty. This is the pursuit of happiness. You want to be on that team? You've picked the wrong team, man, woman. That's the team that's opposed to everything that you sincerely believe in your heart of hearts. Don't vote that way. Oh, you don't like Donald Trump? Well, then look at the platform. It's a platform that is for life. It is a platform that is for liberty. And it is a platform that is for the pursuit of happiness, which is property rights, ownership. And Donald Trump was a champion in the White House, reducing regulation after regulation that would get in the way of your ownership of property, your ability to prosper has been chopped and chopped and chopped and hacked during these last 4 years. You can't vote for that team. And for those in America who are going to sit on the sidelines once again and not vote, shame on you. You're the problem. Oh, but I live in California. My vote's not going to count when it comes to the president. Don't be so sure this time around. Don't be so sure. I think there's a silent majority out there. They'll never wear the MAGA hat. They'll never wear the Trump t-shirt, but they understand what's going on and they don't like it. So I am encouraging you, please help get out the vote. Help wake up our brothers and sisters and fellow citizens who have no clue. I will also say this. I thank God that Donald Trump was not killed or seriously injured. And I thank God that if that would have happened on national TV, do you know how disturbing? There would be people who would, without divulging too much personal information, I will just say this. When you see somebody die tragically in an accident or something like that, it changes your life. You can never get those images out of your head. It just changes you. Some of you know what I'm talking about in your own life, not necessarily mine. Thank God that did not happen. Thank God he was not killed. That would have been live on television. I saw, and I know many of you witnessed, a Donald Trump who was a different man during that convention. He's been humbled. And I'm sure there's probably even some survivor's guilt because a man went down via a bullet intended for Donald Trump. And I know that conspiracy theories abound, and rightly so. We don't know exactly what happened. We may never know exactly what happened. That seems to be the trend in the United States of America when it comes to assassinations and assassination attempts. But all that said, he's alive. And I'm praying he's going to be our next president. We don't want the cackler who is, in fact, a political beast to become president of these United States of America. I want to end with this. Donald Trump, we've seen over the last few years the absolute rallying of the political media, because the media is so political. They're not out there to tell the truth. When I was going to the University of Missouri, learning how to do journalism, when I was running a small TV newsroom just after college in Columbia, Missouri, the ABC station, I learned and I taught all my guys, including Greg Hunter. Greg Hunter was one of my first hires. Greg Hunter now runs USA Watchdog. He was the guy that encouraged me to just take my voice. He said, Brian, you don't have a radio show anymore. Okay, we get that. But you need to take your game up another notch. Start going live. Start going live. So this is the inaugural broadcast. I'm dedicating it to Greg Hunter of USA Watchdog, one of my great friends and one of my best hires of all time. But Greg made it very, very clear to me. The media is so rallied against and biased against Donald Trump. This is the same media that used to love him. When Oprah Winfrey had her very popular television show, Donald Trump was a frequent guest. And every time he'd be on the air, she'd say, "Oh, Donald, when are you going to run for president? Donald, when are you going to run?" And then he was a regular on Howard Stern's show. Howard Stern, incredibly liberal, regular guest. When are you going to run, Donald? Have you considered the White House? What are you thinking right now? He had this show, The Apprentice. He was the toast of Hollywood. Everyone loved him. But then when he decided he would run for a president, there was an initial reaction. Oh, is it going to be Democrat? Yes, yes, yes. And he descends the stairs and tells us he's going to be running as a Republican. And since then, the fangs have been out. The claws have been out. The daggers have been out. They tried to impeach him. Well, they did impeach him. They indicted him. They prosecuted him. They tried to kill him. Some might say, well, not they. Well, can I tell you something? When it was first reported on that Saturday that Donald Trump had been shot, I guarantee you people on the left were thinking, perhaps aloud, thank God. Good. Get him out of the way. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. You're darn right they did. I don't know what they have up their sleeve at this particular point in time, but they're not done. And this MAGA movement, friends, it's not about Donald Trump. It's about us. The Make America Great Again crowd, those who believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those who believe in property rights and believe those rights have been tarnished over many decades. Those who believe in the right to life and want to see it come to an end. Those who believe in America first. Those who believe in we should be the greatest economy on the planet. Those who believe that this country has been a blessing to the planet at large. We stopped 2 great wars. And the people of this nation, so many, have given untold billions of dollars to charities that have helped the entire world. And I'm talking about individual donations, not government handouts. This is about us. We need to get out the vote. We need to stay informed. We need to stay encouraged. And we need to remain vigilant. And I hope that these podcasts, which I'm going to be doing live For now, I'm going to attempt to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. And perhaps after Labor Day, we'll increase those to 5 days a week. But I'm hoping these will be a source of value to equip you, to encourage you, and for us to see victory at the end of the day. I will close with this. I have some very dear friends in Nigeria. I'm on a Bible study with them every Saturday morning. And not only do we have men from Nigeria, but we've got guys from other parts of the United States. And I'm just thinking of one particular guy who joins us from the Balkans, Eastern Europe. As America goes, so goes the world. They're all concerned that if this country has another 4 more years of a Biden-like presidency, it's going to harm them greatly. When we're strong, they're strong. When we prosper, they prosper. Let's make America great again, not just for us, but for the world. My friends, thank you very much. I look forward to our next podcast. I hope you will follow me here on Rumble and wherever else this may be seen. And to you, I say, God bless you. Have a great day. Brian Sussman signing off. Don't forget me at briansussman.com, on Twitter, Debate Me Al Gore, Facebook, Brian Sussman Show, and of course, my books available at Amazon. God bless you, my friends. Thanks for your patience in me getting this on the air today. Appreciate you.